Meeting of the Committee of the Whole to order. All members are present. First order on the agenda is approval of minutes of January 11th Committee of the Whole meeting.
Motion approved.
Moved and seconded to approve. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item D2 on the agenda is discussion regarding updates to the home occupation laws. Who is leading on this one? Kale? Or Steve? Steve? Aha, you're up.
Welcome.
Home occupation laws.
Is this about quartering troops?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's
So, what's the
One of those
question? You just want to learn about the,
Well, it's on the agenda.
okay.
It says discussion.
My understanding is that there was some question about making them a little stricter for certain types of uses. My concern is that making them too strict will hurt the entrepreneurial spirit. Now, when I draft the zoning code that we've sent out to all of you, take a look at that the section within the code as far as home occupations. We have simplified it. A lot of the same standards are still in there. More recently, Suzette, and we've talked about dog grooming business on Raymond Lane.
Yep.
And that was, a prohibited use within our current zoning ordinance. So I guess the question is such a use good for a neighborhood or bad for a neighborhood, depending on the number of visits, people coming and going from a property, or the type of use. We want to maintain neighborhood character first and foremost. So these businesses, maintaining an entrepreneurial spirit, we don't want it to adversely change the character of the neighborhood. We want to keep it, positive, residential, quiet, but provide an outlet for entrepreneurs to do business. So our current code does address that, but take a look at that and just let me know if you have any questions, if there's things you want to change.
Is that what we're
about it.
discussing on the 8th?
On the 8th, we'll be talking about the overall zoning code
zoning,
itself.
yeah.
But this one specific
address
topic,
that?
I think, came up just based recently on some different types of uses that we have currently
Well, I
within
think
our
we all,
existing code.
Steve, we all got a notice that this person on Raymond Lane was granted, or going to be granted an occupancy permit for a dog grooming
Yeah.
business in their home.
Right,
And I
yeah.
think that's what raised concerns.
If I may, and I raised some of the concerns because what I've noticed, and this really goes back for 2 years now, we changed the way we did business as a city, much in part to do with COVID. As we are still in the throes of COVID, what I have seen, and a lot of it is through social media, is we have home businesses opening up that wouldn't ordinarily be home businesses. This is where we would put these businesses, such as mine, in a storefront. I would never want anybody to view the city as being down on business. So that, first and foremost, isn't the reason why we need to look at the zoning. We need to look at the zoning because that's what it was in place for. Residential areas should remain residential. Dog grooming business, whether you're bathing a dog or you're cutting someone's hair or you're doing nails, these are the operations that we're seeing opening from someone's home. And we have to think about it, whether there's a neighbor complaint at this juncture or not, we need to at least put some parameters around this. From my understanding and researching what this home business space was for people who needed, a realtor's license and needed a home office. Now we're looking at actual businesses, one after the other. If you're doing a dog grooming service, you can say, oh, well, what's the worry about, cutting dogs' hair or whatever. There's a lot of oversight. We have businesses that are dog groomers, too, in which that went out of business in storefronts because they didn't have enough business. That's not what the ordinance is about. We're not, preventing free market. But when we have vacant storefronts and we have operators like myself that have to go through 5 phases of occupancy to open, and somebody else can simply just fill out a permit, and I don't mean to be dismissive, but that's the gist of it. Who's the oversight? Who's following up? Where's health going in? The state may allow you to do nails out of your home. They may allow you to do hair out of your home, but we as a city do not. So I think that list that we have needs to be very specific. If that job or that home-based business that you're looking to run doesn't fit in to the realm of that criteria, and it's not on that list, then it shouldn't be permitted.
I agree, and that's the way we've always operated, to my knowledge, Suzette. However, I don't know if this one slipped through the cracks or what happened, or if they
No.
were never issued the permit, or,
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so they applied for a home-based business, and on the 12th of January, on the 14th, we said, no, you can't, because it's not in the permitted list of occupations. So if they had been doing business prior to that time, there's really no way staff would know unless somebody complains or they apply
Well,
for an occupancy permit.
yeah, I understand that. When I saw this, I was wondering, did this get by somebody? Did somebody approve that they could have this? Because,
Yeah, I mean, they applied on the 12th, and 2 days later, we said, I'm sorry, but this just doesn't fit the zoning ordinance. It's outside the parameters of, the home occupancy section. So,
okay,
she
good.
understood, and, there were some Facebook
Yep.
posts that she had put, starting a business, and that sort of alerted everybody to, okay, yeah, well, this doesn't work.
Good, okay,
And
as long as we haven't
furthermore,
changed anything.
if I may add, I think it's offering due diligence on our end as a city that we're informing people. I mean, I'd hate to be that person who thinks within my licensure that I can operate out of my home, but didn't do my due diligence to find out that I couldn't do that actually based on city rules. So I don't want to see people spending money to set up a grooming shop out of their home and then come find out that they're just going to get a cease and desist order. That doesn't look good altogether, but that is on them. They
Well,
need
it
to be
is.
responsible
Yeah,
to
that's on
look
them.
at these rules.
Yep, they have to know what they're doing before they start
Right, but I
investing money.
think the climate, especially because of COVID, everybody started doing that. So social media is the great outlet of advertising.
Okay.
Kale's got his hand up.
Chair,
Oh, yes, Cal.
just to help the further discussion a little bit, when you look at section 12.17, I'm yelling through the mask, sorry, but I'm trying. The examples, sub M in there is just a general catch-all category. So I think that was some of the issue we had before is by doing that, you're opening up to planning having to be put in this awkward position of predicting what the council would have approved, which is tough to do. It's a tough spot to be put in. So I understand the flexibility that might, which is intriguing and attractive, but also it also creates not a lack of clarity. So if the council is interested in buttoning this thing up, removing that last exception would be a way to really be certain as to what occupations are allowed in homes and which ones are not. Because that is a tough line and a tough spot to put staff in.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
And then also, if you want to take a look at the list itself, like, just to verify that these are in fact occupations you want in homes. So like dental laboratories, I'm not even sure what that is.
Somebody was on
There used
council.
to be
That
Needed a
sounds like
dental laboratory.
1990s.
teeth impressions. There used to be
It's,
one
I-
across from Franklin Elementary, and
Like
he was there
carving-
for years, and then he would do the
You make dentures.
dentures.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
so maybe more specifically something like that, but
Yeah.
it's not, I'm not sure what that is. But just take a look at the list, and so if there's an interest in amending that to maybe cut a few of those out or change these or further define them,
There is.
that'd be a good opportunity to do so. And I can work with whoever wants to sponsor that.
Well, Steve, why don't you come in with some recommendations in the safety and development, and we'll,
Also,
Right.
if there's anything that council absolutely does not want in neighborhoods, I can think of a few, but I mean, like auto repair and those types of things, I mean, that'd be good to know, because I mean, we still, with the spirit of the ordinance and the new ordinance, I think we want to try to be flexible to a point. I understand there's got to be a line in the sand though, but there is an emerging trend to, and cities are doing this, to become a little bit more flexible with what they allow in residential settings. Again, we want to maintain that residential character. It's got to be residential first and foremost, but maybe we can expand it a little bit, but yet
Tighten up where
not hurt
needed, right?
anybody's
Yeah.
enjoyment of their property either. But that's a challenge. But
And if I may add, just so if anybody has any inquiries, like a child care out of a home, that's not governed over city.
Nope.
That is state regulated. So if anybody had questions on that.
okay, anything else on item D? If not, we'll move on to item E. These will be closed session items. Item 3 is discussion of the creation of a joint fire department option under Wisconsin Statute 62.13, parent 2M, parent A. And item 4, deliberating the repair or replacement of a public works facility currently located at 6300 West McGee. And item 5, discussion regarding the status of lease between City and Aurora West Dallas Medical Center. For these agenda items, the committee of whole may convene in closed session pursuant to the provisions of Wisconsin Statute, Section 19.85, parent 1, parent E, for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the investment of public funds or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reason require a closed session. The committee of the whole may reconvene in open session after the completion of the closed session to consider the balance of the agenda.
Motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Alderman Weigel.
Aye.
Alderman Ranky.
Aye.
Alderman Haas.
Aye.
Alderman Roach.
Aye.
Alderman
Aye.
Stefanski. Alderwoman Grisham.
Aye.
Alderwoman Keane.
Aye.
Alderman Vitelli. Alderman Tenorio. And the chair votes aye. It's unanimous. We are now in closed session.
Good evening. We are going to call the February 1st meeting of the Common Council to order, and I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Stefanski.
Here.
Tenorio.
Here.
Vitale. Here. Weigel. Here. Grisham. Here. Haas.
Here.
Keen.
Here.
Lysick.
Here.
Ranky.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
10 present.
Quorum is present. Please rise if you are able and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Alderman Stefanski this evening.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will move on to item D. On our agendas, we have 2 items for public hearing this evening. I will ask the clerk to read out public hearing number 1.
Resolution to confirm and adopt the report of the city engineer containing a schedule of proposed assessments for improvement of West Lincoln Avenue from South 91st Street to South 93rd Street by concrete reconstruction with miscellaneous sidewalk repair, miscellaneous driveway repair, storm sewer relay, sanitary sewer relay, water main relay, building services, and utility adjustments.
Thank you. Mr. Daniels?
Thank you, Mayor Devine. Okay, this is the public hearing for Lincoln Avenue from 91st to 93rd. The reason really that this project got started, we got a $1 million grant from the state of Wisconsin because of the high accident count. This is the 9th most dangerous intersection in the city with 17 injuries and 59 accidents. The accident rate is much higher than the statewide average, so we're going to try and reduce some of those accidents, which you see in this diagram, with new signals, signal heads over each lane, enhanced crosswalk pavement markings, countdown timers, ADA ramps. So we're going to try and enhance the safety, reduce the number of injuries and accidents that are happening at that intersection, but at the same time, we're going to repair everything else, all new pavement, all new sewer, all new water main. Here's a diagram of what the final product will look like with these enhanced crossings. The left turn lanes will be lengthened a bit. Not a dramatic difference from what's there now, but hopefully we will improve safety with the new signals and the new equipment for that as well. But like I said, the pavement is the concrete underneath the asphalt's almost 90 years old. It was resurfaced in 1992, 30 years ago. I was the inspector, so I was there. Extensive alligator cracking. The asphalt is really in the final stages of its life. So we're going to replace all the pavement with new concrete pavement, be starting fresh with brand new concrete. Likewise, the sewer and water under the street is 95 years old. The water main's from 1927. We're going to put in new water main. We're going to put in new copper water services to the curb stop. There may be money later for private lead pipes to be replaced. We're going to put in new storm sewer. The existing sewer is from 1928 to 1931, so that's 90-some years old. New sanitary sewer. The old one is from 1927, so that's 95 years old. And City DPW is going to be putting in some new LED street lighting as well, hopefully before the work begins. So there'll be new street lighting circuit as well. The cost for the project is the pavement's $900,000, signal is $260,000, sewer is $167,000, storm sewer $150,000, water main $329,000. So $1.8 million for these 2 blocks to replace absolutely everything. Like I said, we are getting a $1 million federal grant, which takes up about 56% of the funds. The special assessments that we're here for tonight are $63,000. That's only about 3% of the total cost. The rest of the general fund, which is the citywide property tax, is paying about 12%. The sanitary sewer fund is paying for the sanitary sewer. That's about 9%. The stormwater fund is paying for the storm sewer. That's about 2%. And then the water utility is paying for the water main. That's about 18%. So the lion's share is coming from federal funding. Here's a sample special assessment, assuming a 55-foot lot. The assessment rate is $64.39 per foot, so that comes to $3,541. If you do have a driveway, there would be $8 per square foot additional cost for the driveway itself. But I want to point out that the bills would not be mailed out until March of 2023, not 2022, but 2023. So over a year from now, after the project's done, we will send out the bills next spring. And at that point, you'd have the option to pay it all off, or to have a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. We do have 4% interest because we are borrowing the funds for this, so we have to pay the bondholders for the interest, and we just merely are passing that interest on to you. But the first year payment would be $496, and that's for the whole year. And then the 10th year, the payment would be $368. That's for the whole year. That's an annual fee. So why do we special assess? We have been doing it for over 110 years. In the old days, the residents paid 100% of the cost. Like I said, in this case, it's only 3%. That $64.39 per foot cost is the same rate to the penny that anyone would pay anywhere in the city, no matter how wide their street is, or how high the traffic volumes are, or how high the actual bid prices are. So the people on Lincoln Avenue are not paying anything more than anyone on a cul-de-sac would pay. It's the exact same price. Everybody is treated equally. And like I said, we've been doing it for 110 years. There have been numerous court cases, and the judges have always upheld this as a reasonable way of recouping the costs for the city. But the main reason we do it is that it's really the only way to ensure that tax-exempt schools, churches, charities, hospitals, county parks, utilities, railroads pay their fair share as well. And there are a lot of tax-exempt properties in the city. There are 430 that don't pay any property taxes. So this is how we get them to contribute their fair share. And in case in point, this We Energies gas pumping station, which is on the project, which has never paid any taxes, will be paying $8,219 for their property that will go towards the cost of the project. So this is going to be, because it's federally funded, this project will be run by the state, and the contract will be signed by Governor Evers. So they actually are going to did begin advertising today for bids. They will award the low bidder on March 8th. We don't get to pick who the contractor is. It will be the low bidder, and the city does not get to pick who the state inspector will be. The state of Wisconsin will assign somebody to the project, so it will not be a city staff person. We do hope to begin the work on May 1st and have it all done by September 21st. But you'll see there are 3 phases, and I'll explain those in a minute. So the total project will take 85 working days, spanned over 145 calendar days. So we take out the 44 days of the weekends and the holidays. We take out the 16 days that we're assuming it's going to rain, and that's how we get from 145 calendar days down to 85 working days. So here's phase 1, or stage 1. This will go from about May 1st through June 18th. Basically, we're doing the block from 71st to 72nd, and that's all we'll do during that month and a half, is the sewer, the water, and the street in that one block. 92nd Street will stay open, but there will be a detour from Lincoln up to Beecher and down around on National to go around, because Lincoln will be closed. Then the second phase will actually be working in the intersection with 92nd Street, so the road will be closed in both directions from June 18th to August 5th when school is out. If you're going north-south, you're going to have to go over to 84th Street, and if you're going east-west, you're going to have to go up to Beecher, as I said before. And then the third phase will move to the block from 92nd to 93rd, so that'll be August 5th to about September 21st. And that's going to be about 28 working days, which is 48 calendar days. And the detour then again would be on Beecher. But during that 28 working days, they would get all the water main, get all the sanitary sewer, all the storm sewer, and get all the pavement done in that month and a half. And then the project would be done. So during the construction, the best way to find out what's going on is through our weekly email notification. If you go to our website and sign up for the construction in progress report, we'll send you an email every week with a status update and the information on who to call if you have a problem or a complaint. And it's actually in the summer, sometimes we send out even more than once a week, so definitely want to get your email address in there and get signed up for that so that you keep up to date on what's happening. And with that, I will conclude.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Are there any questions from the members of the Common Council on this item?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Rote?
Pete, are we going to be doing similar to what we did on 84th Street when they did that intersection? We barricaded some of the side streets, 83rd and 82nd, for all the cut-through traffic.
We can, yeah, we can definitely do that.
I'm thinking 90th, but it's closed at 91st. I'm
Right.
thinking 90th would be a cut-through.
Yeah, we can definitely look at that
Okay.
as it develops, I guess.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the members of the council? Hearing none, are there any members of the audience with questions on this public hearing? All right, seeing none, we will close our first public hearing, and we will move on to public hearing number 2, which I will ask the clerk to read out.
Resolution to consider an amendment to the 2016-21 Community Development Block Grant Action Plans relative to allocating $30,000 of contingency funding to the 2021 Community Development Block Grant Annual Plan for the creation of a new blight clearance and demolition activity.
Thank you. Mr. Scherer, when you're ready.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, this is a hearing to reallocate $30,000 from contingency from the Community Development Block Grant Program Contingency Fund to a new program called Blight Clearance and Demolition Activity. Be a public service activity, and anytime we make substantial amendments to our action plan, there is a call for a public hearing to inform the public and solicit any public comment. It does meet the federal requirement in terms of clearance, slum and blight clearance in the Matrix Code of HUD. And one example of how this would be used is to clear, blighted properties. This would be done on a spot basis. Unfortunately, this is not this type of situation isn't taking place across all over West Allis. I mean, these are just spot activities that this program would be used to clear. In this case, we have a home on South 94th Street, which received raise orders. The property owner more or less abandoned it. It has not been maintaining it. So there is court action in this case, and there is a raise order. So it's, again, just for really bad situations where there's slum and blight deterioration of a property. That concludes the public hearing. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Scherer. Any questions from the council on this item? Seeing none, are there any questions from the members of the audience on this item? Okay, then we will close public hearing number 2, and we will go on to item E, citizen participation. The council may receive information from members of the public during this 30-minute period. We do ask that you keep your comments to no more than 5 minutes, and we ask that you give us your name and address for the official record. We cannot take action on the topics brought up, we just listen. Does anybody wish to address the council under citizen participation this evening? All right, seeing none, we will close citizen participation, and we will move on to item F, which is announcing the standing committees which will be meeting during recess. The room numbers are listed on the top of page 3 of your agendas. And I will move on now to item G. I do not have a mayor's report this evening, so we'll move right to H. Are there any reports from the alderpersons? Alderman Stefanski and then Alderman Tenorio.
I would just like to send out a special thank you to everybody here on behalf of myself and my family for the beautiful flowers the council sent for my mother's funeral, and everybody who reached out to me and sent their condolences. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Alderman Tenorio.
I want to thank Kegels and the Liberty Heights Neighborhood Association and City Light and so many other partnerships, Rocky Rococo's, Chai Tea from Lake Effect Coffee for hosting ice skating and pizza nights at Liberty Heights Park. It's been a huge success. I was volunteering last Thursday, but it'll be every Tuesday and Thursday from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. until March 3rd. So come on out this coming Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move for approval of the minutes of the January 11th, 2022 Common Council meeting.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion or changes to the minutes? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Ayes have it. Minutes are approved. We have nothing under the standing committee reports under item J this evening, so we will move right to item K.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
this is the consent agenda. The actions were not printed on the agenda, so I'd like to read them. Items 4 to 12 are for adoption. Item 13 is to approve and place on file. Item 14 is to grant. Items 15 and 16 are to place on file. And items 17 to 19 are to be referred to the city attorney. If there's no objection from any member of the council, I would move for adoption of the committee, on the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any objection or separate action? Okay, hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Stefanski.
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale. Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen. Lysick.
Aye.
Ranky.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman
I
Lysick.
move that we stand in recess until conclusion of the committee meetings.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are in recess.
You're just Italian?
My kids have their little socks on.
I needed my wingman here. Are you ready? All 5 members are present. We will start out with item 29 on tonight's agenda. It's Resolution 2022-0016. It was our earlier public hearing. Resolution to confirm and adopt the report of the city engineer containing the schedule of proposed assessments for improvement of West Lincoln Avenue from South 91st Street to South 93rd Street by concrete reconstruction with miscellaneous sidewalk repair, miscellaneous driveway repair, storm sewer relay, sanitary sewer relay, water main relay, building service and utility adjustments.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing
We
none.
heard our city engineer already.
Okay.
So I'm happy
It's
about
just kind of a formality thing, Vince.
Yes.
We've been doing it for years.
Got to do what you got to do.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Item 30, Resolution 2022-0017, final resolution authorizing public improvement by concrete reconstruction with
Move to
miscellaneous.
approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 31, Resolution 2022-0057, resolution relative to the notice of hearing for the vacation and discontinuance of a portion of public right-of-way north of West National Avenue and southwest of South Waukesha Road, requested by David Schneck and Joan Sternweiss.
There's no problem, right?
No. A long time ago, that land west of Waukesha Road, there's a lot of vacant land back there. They were going to have a whole street system back there, and that's what this was just going to be part of it. So we're never going to develop that back.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Yes. Are there any more of those lots back there, or is that it? Is that the last one? Or any remnants back there?
Any others have reserved right away. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
they're all 600-foot lots,
Right.
and yeah, they were going to split
Chair.
them.
Yes.
Basically, is the city firm on this, not expanding
No,
and
no,
and building on that property?
No, I don't think the residents that own those land would want to divide.
Those are huge lots.
They are.
Right.
I think they like them that way.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sure they do.
Is it swampland?
Some of it's wetlands. There's a creek back there, and it's a lot of forest. There's lots of deer, and so I think the people I know on Waukesha like it that way. So
I know. I realize that, but I was wondering if at all it's a probability that they could be
we've
built on.
talked about other streets back there, but not like this, because the school district owns some land back there.
Yes.
So I mean, there are there were some discussions about
Pretty wet
putting
right
like, yeah,
Yeah,
but nothing as extensive as this, so this would never be needed.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 32, Resolution 2022-0068, resolution to authorize the purchase of WinCan software lease for a sum of $15,695.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No, motion carries. Item 33, Resolution 2022-0021, resolution to facilitate the purchase of 420 96-gallon and 264-gallon garbage carts in the amount of $34,662.40 to support the 2022 Quality of Life Focus Initiative for the standardization of garbage carts for 1, 2, 3 family residential dwelling units. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
That's about time.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Comment.
Yes, that was comment, not discussion.
Comment. That's
We
comment.
have,
Sorry.
Okay, we'll get to that next. Okay, it's been, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Alderman Ranky.
I was going to ask our
Thank you.
department heads, basically, have we had a lot of people asking for carts?
So currently, right now, we have 400 requests
Okay.
for garbage carts at this time. So right now, the initial shipment, I was going to talk about this in the discussion that we made on December 15th of last month, is still being shipped. We expect it either Friday or Monday. So then at that time, we can start the delivery to the patrons, so.
And you mentioned there was a price change?
Yes, given the fees are reflective of the current price,
Right.
purchase price, so we would have to do an increase. The 96-gallon containers will remain the same for $58, but the 64-gallon was $48. That would have to be increased to $52. And that, pending your approval tonight, would be effective tomorrow.
So basically, we are having that
Excuse me?
having that price,
Yes.
Right.
Correct. Yep.
right,
And then right now, it's half price, yep.
right. Thank you.
So
Mr. Chair?
You better go tonight and get one. Go ahead, Alderman. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Dave, just one question. Of the 400 requested, are these those that are not currently in
Roughly.
possession of them? Or I'm curious because I've noticed a lot of people wanting to purchase additional carts, so I want to make sure that we're covered for the amount that we have.
So right now, approximately it's half of those are the individuals that have been identified
Okay.
not having the city-provided carts. so-
Okay. And are we in good shape that we'll have enough to cover?
Yes, we should be receiving, pending your approval in tonight's additional order, we should have enough to cover our needs.
Okay,
for those
thank you.
individuals, 1,100
All right,
units.
that's it.
And there is a time limit, isn't there, as far as
Yep.
the people will be given a certain amount of time to get these carts?
Correct, that is through May 31st.
May?
May 31st.
Okay.
correct.
Okay. Is there a motion? I forgot.
There was in a
Oh,
second.
okay.
That was
Okay,
discussion.
great, thank you. Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and when we had our discussion and comments, Vince, so all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Did Alderman Keene want to hear item 34 as well, or just the pilot program one?
I believe it was just item 35.
Okay, so now we will go to item 34, 2022-0156, status of the mayor's initiative for standardization of refuse carts.
So with that, we discussed this a little bit previously with the resolution that was just passed, but I was getting some inquiries regarding the status of the shipment of these containers. The 96-gallon containers, we had to hopefully receive the first shipment that was ordered in December, and hopefully this Friday or Monday we'll receive that shipment. So we have been receiving a lot of phone calls of those individuals that have purchased these garbage carts, and I just wanted to let the public know and yourself know so you can address those concerns that the carts are coming in. The manufacturer of this cart was very apologetic. They had a plant shut down for approximately 4 weeks due to some issues at their plant, and that caused a delay. So
Okay.
we're working through it.
So this Friday or Monday?
Yep.
Okay, and the patrons will be notified.
What we'll
As soon as
do
they
is
come in.
we'll start the delivery process, hopefully early next week, Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
And we will start delivering, first come, first
Okay.
serve.
Okay.
Will this be put on the social media?
Yes.
Very good. I think the people should know the price they will be paying.
Yes, yeah, that'll be updated through the communications department.
That's important.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Did you make a motion to place on file? Or was that just?
Place on file.
Okay, I made that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion to place on file. All in favor, any discussion? We've had that. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries to place on file. And we will hold 35 until Alderman Keene comes up. So we will go to,
A temporary adjournment?
yes.
Motion to temporary adjourn the meeting.
Second.
And we recess the meeting.
Yes, recess.
Or recess, I mean.
That's a good thing we got it.
All right, License and Health Committee comes in order. All the members of the License and Health are present. So first of all, we move forward with item 37, 2021-0485, notice of non-notice renewal of Class B liquor and malt license for R&K Entertainments Enterprise LLC DBA Slop and Burp Fun Bar, Robert Lucas, agent at 1454 South 92nd Street. Is Mr. Lucas is here?
Yes, sir.
There you are, right? So I want to ask you, are you here for denial or?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you mean by, what am I?
Well, I mean.
Mr. Chair?
Yes. Oh,
Sure, I can have, so this is just the initial appearance for the licensee. All he has to do is just come in, he received a copy of the complaint for the non-renewal last year. He can just simply say, I admit to it, or he can deny it. There's not really a consequence either way for today. If he says deny, it's set for a hearing later on. If he wants to admit it tonight, then we can move forward and the council could proceed with the non-renewal. So it's really up to the licensee what he'd like to say today.
Can you clarify what I'm admitting to or denying? Because I'm not familiar with the
Sure.
process.
So the non-renewal was based upon a single count, and that was not having a seller's
Right.
permit, and that's it.
Right.
And so if you admit to the fact that you didn't have a seller's permit, then the council would proceed to non-renew your license.
Right.
If you deny that, then we'd be setting up for a hearing on a later date in which that one issue would be heard through evidence, and then the council would decide based on evidence that both sides provide.
Okay, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but the reason for the non-renewal of the license was because there was an issue with the sales permit from the Wisconsin Department of Revenue. The Wisconsin Department of Revenue is currently holding up the sales permit. There's some tax issues that needed to be cleared up. Unfortunately, I've been tied up with some other things and haven't been able to put my full time and attention into getting that clarified.
so the reason was because you didn't pay your,
It was a tax issue,
Tax
but
issue,
not a tax issue that had anything to do with R&K Entertainment. It had to do with another business that was being run by a partner. All the taxes and sales tax and everything has been paid on R&K Entertainment.
Mr. Chair?
yes.
If I may, just to keep in line to what our city attorney advised, is this is to make a motion, basically admit or deny, that would then have to go to a special hearing to discuss any details.
Okay, all right.
So I would refrain from any details.
Okay.
Yeah, so because it really is up to you what you'd like to do. But the state law puts it in a weird situation, which if you either have to admit or have to deny the complaint tonight.
Okay. I guess I'd have to admit to it, but I would like the committee to know that my intention is to take care of the matter and go after and have the license reissued, still paying rent on the business and so on and so forth, paying all the bills. So the intention is to reopen the business and have it licensed. So whatever I need to do to go about getting that done. But I guess I admit to the fact that the sales permit is currently is currently in limbo.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So just because I want to make sure the licensee has full disclosure and understanding, if it's a non-renewal, there actually is a 12-month waiting period before you can reapply for a license in the statutes. And Mr. Lucas, you can do whatever you'd like, but if you would surrender the license instead, you can actually then reapply as soon as you're ready to go.
Okay.
So even though you admitted tonight, I would recommend that you, well, I wouldn't, it's really up to you. But what's going to allow you to do what you just said is if you surrender it. If the council non-renews you, you'll have to wait 12 months before you can apply again.
Well, we want to avoid that, so.
So that's why I'm just trying to think what's a good way to get that done. If you, would that be your intent, do you think, to surrender instead?
Whatever I need to do in order to appropriate the license in the expediency that.
Got it.
I think it would be the proper process, for you to follow.
And
So would we make a motion to,
so my advice to the committee then would be to vote in favor of non-renewal, but then hold that matter at the council for 2 weeks. That way, Mr. Lucas has 2 weeks to decide if he wants to surrender the license instead and avoid that non-renewal. That would allow him to apply at any point in time in the future for another license.
okay, I would make that motion to non-renew with the stipulation of 2 weeks to come before council, to give
Is that an
Mr.
issue?
Lucas his
Is that an issue that goes
opportunity
before council?
to do surrender.
All right.
I need a second. You second it?
Yes.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? The aye have it.
Mr. Chair.
We'll see you in 2 weeks then.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, go ahead.
So, Mr. Lucas, you don't actually have to appear in 2 weeks.
Okay.
If you'd like, you can just notify the city clerk's office and tell them I surrender my Class B licenses. That's all that needs to happen legally is a communication from you to the clerk's office.
Okay.
Upon doing that, you don't have to show up next week, and actually that would nullify this whole thing. So there actually wouldn't be a non-renewal against you because you already surrendered.
All right, I appreciate that.
Okay?
Thank you, Attorney
Thank you
Decker, for
for
the
stopping in.
clarification.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas.
So we move forward with item 38. It's 2022-01-2222, new Class B tavern license and public entertainment permit for EXC Investment, the DBA Can Bar and Grill, 6922 West Orchard Street, West Allis, Wisconsin, 53214. Agent Edwards Jones, public entertainment permit to include jukebox, DJ bands, karaoke, patrons dancing, instrumental music concert, the pool table, and amusement machine. You're the man, eh? You're the man.
I would be the man.
You be the man. So, do you have any previous?
Yeah, the old colony where you guys used to hold your city meetings. I had that back 15 years ago, 10 years ago, right after Bill's.
Yeah.
Yep, right after Bill passed away. I had that for just under a year, and then I sold it because me and my wife at the time got divorced.
Okay.
And now, me and Kat here, we've been together 8 years. We're not married. We're both divorced. We have Lemansky's Pub, which I'm sure you heard of on 89th and
Yes.
Greenfield.
Oh, sure.
So now we're looking to expand.
To expand. Any questions from any committee members?
Have you sold the colony? Did I understand that?
Oh, I didn't own it. I just leased it out when
Oh, you
Bill,
leased it.
yeah, when Bill passed away. I leased it out because they sold it to some other family that they were
Yeah.
doing bakery out of the back. So I just leased the bar area from them.
I see.
Yeah, they're not doing
Has
anything.
this been a problem bar?
Oh, the one I'm
In the
taking
past?
over now is Tanner Paul, the American Legion.
Oh,
That's
I
the one
see.
yeah.
Okay.
We're going to try to bring it back to how it was when it was Tanner Paul with the fish fries and everything.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I just have a question. When you expand the business, obviously you have 2 locations. It's always real important that we have owners present also and very involved in their businesses. With the partnership that is
Yes.
this a partnership that you're going in
Yes.
together?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you'll both be overseeing both
Yes.
properties? Okay.
Correct.
All right, that's it.
So questions that I have for you, What's the time for you have to say the band? I mean, is by 10 p.m., 11, 12, or?
It's usually between 10 and 11, around 10. I like
Around
that.
10.
Yeah, we have bands.
Because you know the senior complex just a little bit.
Yeah,
north
right
of
behind the
you.
building.
So in the past, I mean, I did receive some complaints in reference of
The
business.
bands are mainly, we did that because
Yeah.
people are renting the hall upstairs, and if they
Yeah.
want to have music for their wedding or whatever they're doing, that's why we applied for that.
So if you could be more conscientious about the people, the senior that live just next door.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
So hope we won't see you another year, you know, I mean, for complaints, you know?
Oh,
Okay?
Mr. Chair, I believe
Yes.
there was a motion by,
Yes.
and I'll second.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Best of luck
Good
to
luck
you.
to you.
right, thank you very much.
Good luck.
Good luck to you. All right.
Everybody's going to start doing the wave back there.
So we're moving forward with item 39, 2022-0026, 2021-2023, new operator license, bartender class D operator application for Angela Krishy. She's not here again, eh?
I would ask for her. I'm not sure what she looks like.
Yeah, she's, I believe we can move for denial of the license, really.
Move for denial, Mr. Chair, based on two non-appearances.
You know, so let's move. All in favor of denial of the operator license?
Mr. Chair, may
Yes.
I ask now, being this is denied, this now goes into that 6-month rule? Is that where we fall? Or
Yeah.
she cannot apply again
She
for
can
6 more months?
apply again,
Okay,
you know.
all right, thank you.
Okay. All in favor of denial?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. So then we move on with item 40, 2022-0052, 2021, and 2023 new operator license bartender class D operator application for Adrian Rodriguez. Adrian, she's here?
Okay. Is this the same scenario?
Same thing, I believe, based on some of the convictions, you know. Yes.
He was not here at the last meeting, but he was in the council chambers, so
Oh,
I'm
so there
not
was some
sure.
confusion.
I talked to him, so I'm not sure why he's not here now.
He's not over there right now, is he?
I'll go check.
If I could just recommend to the committee to table this one for now and move on.
That's what I thought.
I think that's
Let's
what we
table
should
it.
do, you know, based on
Okay.
what I read, you know.
Then we'll move on to 41.
Okay, we table that at this time. Okay, let's move on to item 41. 2022-01-073, 2021-2023 new operator license, bartender class D operator application for Zachary Venterel Linton. She's here?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
He's requested that this item be held. He's not able to attend tonight.
So we should give him a chance for next time, right?
Mr. Chair, I would approve, I would make that motion based on the fact that he made a mistake the last time, so this really would be his first non-appearance.
Okay,
I'm talking to, I'm sorry,
okay.
So,
number 41.
Number 41.
and Mr. Vanderlyn, this will be his first
Right.
appearance. He's just requesting a delay till the 15th so he can appear. He was unable to appear tonight.
Yeah, that's fine.
So does that count as a non-appearance?
The non-appearance is really up to you to decide if you want to do that, but I would say no. I would
Okay,
suggest no.
I heard two no's. Okay, fine.
And for item 40, we're not able to find Mr. Rodriguez.
Okay.
So
So we give him a chance, 40 and 41, right?
Well, I think we were just looking, yeah, we'll do that separate.
Separate. then.
So 41 was a motion to hold.
Yes. So we hold that one. So then we,
So if there's a motion to postpone until the 15th, that you could vote on that one?
Was there a
Okay.
second yet?
There
yeah,
wasn't a second.
for 41, for 41.
Okay, there's been a motion and a
Adrian
second.
isn't present
All
right
in
now.
favor to hold it until the February,
We're on 41 right now. and we'll go
I know,
back to-
but she was going to check and see if Adrian
yet.
was here.
so it's been an motion second to hold it until the next.
He's not here.
He's not here, so.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, there has been a motion and a second,
Second,
and we
so-
need a vote. So all in favor?
All in favors?
Aye.
I
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Sorry about that.
So now you want to
And
go
then
back to
number
40?
40.
40, okay.
Motion to deny.
Second.
All in favor of the motion of denial?
Aye.
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 The ayes have it. Then we move on, item 43, 2022.
42.
42, I mean, I'm sorry about that. 21, 20, 23 new operator license, bartender Class D operator application for Sean Murphy. Is here? I can't believe it, they all applied for it, but they didn't have no time to show up.
This first time or second time?
First time.
First time.
Well,
Well,
we're pretty good about giving a break here and there.
He has some few records, you know, so I wonder if, I believe we can move for denial. I mean, it's up to the members.
Let me review. Okay. Okay.
Are you moving, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, you have the floor to make that motion if you wanted to.
I'll make a motion for denial for
I'll
Mr.
second
Murphy.
it. Do you have-
All in favor?
All in
Manny,
favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
It's on the police report.
Yes.
Correct.
So then we go to item 43. 2022-0101, December 2021, Police Department Tavern Violation Call for Service Reports. So I believe we can
Motion to place on file.
place on file.
Second.
All in favor of the motion to place on file?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Then we move on to item 44, 2022-0184, communication regarding environmental nuisance prevention and control efforts.
That would be Bob Leisha.
Oh,
What is that about?
That is for the Health Department.
Health
So,
Department. Bob.
Commissioner Elisha.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Bob.
Hello, hello. So yeah, in front of you should be just an update on the current, otherwise known as the road and arret abatement project that's tied to the city strategic plan. And so the health department has primary responsibility for trying to move that process forward. And so to this point, just want to share with you that we've actually convened a meeting with representative department heads, actually two over the past couple of months, and really have just kind of done some initial scoping of who's doing what at this point with regard to I just observed rodent activity and the various actions that the various departments are actually implementing at this point. So those at the table to this point have been representation from the health department, from BINS, city administration, the attorney's office, economic development, planning and zoning, communications, and DPW. And so we're looking at this approach as being one that's really going to be comprehensive and requiring many departments to be involved, and really kind of recognizing that health and DPW are just really not able to effectively address all of the issues having to do with the presence of rodents, in the city. So we've kind of done some level setting to this point and just talked about the approach, that being comprehensive and integrated. So really beginning to have the conversation with departments about how we can work closer together on response to identified rodent activity. So that's kind of focusing on some of the rodent control, but then too recognizing that it's not just about control. In order to try and get ahead of this problem, we also need just to have a very aggressive prevention strategy. So part of that just kind of focuses on what we are now doing, in particular with regard to a lot of education, but then also in that context, talking a little bit more with kind of city attorney folks on just, I think, the need to raise more awareness on some of the ordinance and some of the policy-related language that's currently in place. So City Attorney's Office has expressed an interest in taking a look at current ordinance as well, to look at how the verbiage might be reinforced or modified. Not sure what that really means at this point, but it's going to be something that we'll take a look at. Nick Serwin has been involved in the 2 meetings to this point, and I assume will probably be part of the process moving forward as well.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Thank you, Bob, for giving an update. Now, you've had 2 meetings, and it looks like it's going to be all hands on deck, which I truly appreciate as a resident as well. Is there any timeline that we're looking at, an actual action plan that comes forth from this? I mean, there's going to be a lot of moving parts, obviously.
Yeah.
But being this is the mayor's initiative for this budget, and we've had 2 meetings and we're into February, where can we look at there's going to be an action plan put forth?
Yeah, well, certainly our goal is to have a report or a plan by the end of the fiscal year in alignment with the current budget that's available to support this. I guess I would not be surprised if we see that sooner than that, just kind of recognizing, the way that the progress or process is moving forward to this point.
Bob, I appreciate, like I said, to look forward and find some, concern that we have. I think myself on the East End, of course, I'm going to get some calls. But I look at it that there's some extravagancy within many residents, really, whether it's the first or second, on and on. Because if people will maintain their property the way it should, but when I go on 63rd, 64th between Arthur and Hayes, and I go behind the building, and I see holes below the air condition and towards the foundations like this, and you tell me that the landlord, that's a duplex, and the tenants is complaining about it. Actually, I bought the lady, she's on a fixed income, very hard. So I went to buy some poisoning, and Menard, and I took it by her, what's a shameful, really. And what it is that people don't pay attention. They throw anything in the yard, like a pile of wood. They got all that thing that don't belong there. That's why they harboring. That's a good place for them to perspire, to grow, to multiply, just like rabbits. Same thing, And maybe it would be a good idea, maybe not put on the middle page of the quarterly letter that we send out to the citizens. Maybe it should be something right in the front page. I think we could do. I think it will be anybody who gets that from the mailbox, they see it, to remind them that's an issue, it costs money. Bob, about 2 years ago, or more than 2, we spent between Mitchell and Burnham to 60 in Mitchell and Burnham. We spent over $20,000 to put poisoning in the catch basins, So what it is, it comes right from backyards. The way people maintain their properties, really. I have to be clear about it. I don't have to beat around the bushes. That's a problem that's causing many complaints that I had, throughout, even last week on 63rd and Mitchell.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
If I may add to that, and I appreciate your input on that as well, it's not a singular issue. Obviously, we all know this, and that's why there's a lot of moving parts. I think these collaborations are very helpful because one hand knows what the other one's doing. I do believe that communications to our residents is key. It is a big people problem as well. And I keep trying to put that focus out there that it's not just the city's job to fix the problem when we create the problem ourselves as taxpayers ourselves. So we all have to take responsibility. But I appreciate you coming forward tonight and sharing the progress on that. I, of course, don't have the patience for year end and would love to hear it come forth sooner. But I understand in order to make this happen, we have to to really target the problem. But
Our
I would
intent-
like to see a bit more resource to our residents, that they at least have that communication and factor in. And I know we have great field inspectors, and just get that word out to people who feel that we as a city don't care, because we do care.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah. Our
Okay.
intention to keep the process moving forward and expedite it as much as we can.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Bob,
Bob.
for stopping in.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
currently, could you expand a little bit about the program you have in place right now? I
Well,
mean, we
so-
are doing something.
Oh,
I
certainly,
know
yeah,
that we're
that's-
waiting.
That was identified
Yes.
and certainly, I think, recognized as part of the review process. I mean, Health Department does a lot of the education and awareness raising at this point, but I think to the point that, Chair Vitale has kind of raised, are there opportunities to be more aggressive and more broadcast in that information to the residents? Yeah, we are in many respects dealing with a behavioral issue that, kind of boils down to the individual owner or the resident of that property. So that's a real challenge. So we address that as a health department regularly. That only goes so far with certain individuals, and so then what is then the next more aggressive step that we can take, to put a little bit of teeth behind the education that we're providing. And then too, I think it also then needs to be recognized that the city has made its investment, in the refuse containers. So that was recognized, as part of a strategy, to address the rodent control issue. And, so there were certain DPW, they bring in pest control companies when they, are out in the field and help to try and control for some of that activity. And so, yeah, there is a fair amount of activity already happening. But I think at the end of the day, it was just recognize that there's opportunity to collaborate and partner more as departments on this from a comprehensive perspective and be more integrated in terms of our approach. So,
Any more questions for Mr.? No? All right, thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
sure, thank you.
So I don't think it's just a communication, so we don't have to do.
Just place on file, right?
Place on file? Yeah, we can place on
Is that all we
file.
have to do, is just place on?
Yeah, place
so
on
make a
file.
motion, place on file.
Second.
All in favor? To
Aye.
place on file? Opposed? The ayes have it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Do we
Thank
want
you.
to
Should we
handle
go back
those?
to
Yeah, do we want to handle?
Public Works before we hit
I think we
advisory?
should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Handle the next public, okay, we'll reconvene, and none of you left, so we're still all here.
Yes.
We'll go to item 35, 2022-0157, status of garbage and recycling pilot program, and we have you.
Hi again, Dave.
Anybody else want to sit up here? Do you, Mayor, or you want to just?
Mayor Devine, would you
You're
like
more
to
than
join
welcome
us?
if you want to come up here.
Want me to, or I can answer from here?
You
Sure,
can answer
whatever
from
you
there
wanna
too.
do.
You look pretty comfortable there, but.
I know,
The circulation going again?
I want to see the mayor just relax more,
Right?
So we tried to strategize for a reduction, possible savings that we could create, identify in some of our processes at the Department of Public Works. And one of the processes that we looked at was snow plowing, refuse, recycling collection during the winter months, especially when there's plowing demands on the employees and expectations of the patrons throughout the city. So the idea was that we would skip holidays, collections, as well as any severe winter storm that we experience. So in the past, we've had approximate cancellations of garbage refuse collection 1 or 2 times a year. And we usually made up those collections on a Saturday. So now with this, with the reduction of staffing and expectations there to keep collection running, we just can't maintain 2 services of the plowing, salting operations of a large severe storm, as well to maintain the collection services. So we're looking at the holidays. Last year, I believe there were 7 holidays of not having collection during those times, we would save approximately $40,000 in overtime. So if we skip those type of collection dates, this year there's going to be 8 holidays. So the mayor, in talking with the mayor, he recommended just having a pilot program for only the month of January. One holiday, Martin Luther King Day, and we would try this. And we did have a no collection for that Monday. The following Monday, we did collect that area, which was on the west side of the city. And we experienced a increase, obviously, in refuse collection, but we also had stormy weather, which was a lot of labor intensive for the crews. So we had a lot of phone calls from patrons communicating their displeasure of not having that, routine collection. There was issues of communication, information that was going out. There was issues of leaving containers out for multiple days, aesthetically pleasing. The weight increases, again, was an issue for our employees. So we kind of looked at it, and with the phone calls, the mayor and I, we did have discussions, and we kind of weighed the pros and cons, and we experienced, well, our department alone, it's been estimated about 350 to 400 phone calls. So with that, we kind of talked about, I guess what our options would be, but we did want to try this to at least be fiscally, responsible, but again, it didn't turn out, I think, what we expected.
But we tried it.
We did.
Mayor Devine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I guess, like Director Wepping said, last fall, we were looking at ways to fill that $1 million gap we had in the budget that we all heard about, we all were aware of. And, we tried something that I would say probably 20% of the contacts I had were appreciative of the city trying to do something that was being a good steward of the taxpayer dollars. I think our biggest glitch on this was communication and relying too much on the digital strategy of it. I think back to the communication survey that we did as a city 3 years ago, I believe it was, and the responses there indicated a lot of people got their news off social media. Now, the city newsletter was, I think, #1, but obviously that's also been a subject of the budget challenges because I think it's down to twice a year now as opposed to quarterly, which it used to be. So everybody I talked to, I'd ask them, if you were aware of this, do you think you could have managed it better? And I would say half of those people said if they were aware that this was coming and they were not putting their carts out wondering what was happening, that they may have been able to manage a week without garbage. But then I also heard some people really struggled with their recycling filling up and their garbage was okay. And then another half had the opposite effect. So we tried it. I don't think it worked the way we envisioned it. At this point, outside of maybe a cancellation for a significant snowfall, I've got no interest in trying it again. I did reach out to the 5th and 4th district. I don't think there was any Monday in the 3rd, was there?
There is not a Monday.
Yeah, so I reached
so
out
we weren't
to
impacted that way.
alder people from the 4th and the 5th, and just, Alderman Rote and I exchanged.
It was the newly acquired area, too.
Oh, yeah. So they all know you now.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, it did not have the effect I hoped it would, and it did not go the way we planned.
I appreciate that we try, and
Yeah.
that's what I try to encourage any of the residents to understand, that it's a pilot program. It's a test run. It wasn't set in stone, so I appreciate us being more fiscally responsible too.
And if I could, Mr. Chair, I think a lot of the lack of communication a lot of the people calling thought it was already going to be all year.
Yeah, I know.
They did not know it was just
Right, that
January.
was-
And by the time I called, they're like, this is going to be over Monday.
It
So
was,
it's,
yeah,
you
it was
know,
a panic-stricken state
Yes,
for a
because
lot
they
of
were
our.
looking ahead to the 4th of July, they were looking ahead to this, and it's
Oh, yeah.
like, it's going to be over by then. It's
Another
not.
point too is our drivers can only drive for 16 hours.
Yep.
You know, then they're done. We have nothing to say about that. There's some other aldermen, and do you guys have any comments? Alderman Weigel.
I would just add, we had a really mild winter so far with no, I mean, you know what we've had in the past with major snow operations. And if you realize that if we had, weekends are 2 of 7 days of the week already anyway. So if we had a heavy snow on Saturday and Sunday, the streets had to be plowed, and we burned up a lot of driver's hours, and there's nothing available for the garbage trucks on Mondays. If this goes back to back, week to week, you'd have people conceivably having their garbage sitting at their house for a month. And that could be really nice.
And I don't think we ever envisioned it stacking like that. If there was a holiday, then a blizzard, I think we would make efforts to catch up on something like that.
Mr. Chair, if I may, this was brought to my attention too, and I've been a resident here for a long time, and it just goes to show as far as how much I know, even as an alder sometimes in learning. We have an ordinance on the books right now. The reason why we have the carts that we have is we should be able to house 2 weeks worth of refuse. So if the worst case scenario came along and there was that blizzard and we had to miss a collection, our residents should be in good shape. To kind of echo the fact that we're also giving an opportunity for those that, because I fielded calls, well, I have a family of 5. That garbage cart isn't going to work for me. Well, you can have 2 per residence. So you may want to take a look at that and take advantage of the opportunity to get an additional cart if you feel your singular cart isn't going to meet your needs as a family. So, but I do agree, the communication, if that does happen, needs to get a little bit more improved on that end.
And if I could, Mr. Chair, there was also discussion of, we're trying this with an estimated savings of $4,000 to $5,000. Then do we want to spend $3,000 of that sending out letters? So
Right,
that would just
exactly.
instantly taking away
yeah.
the savings we were
Right.
hoping to capture. So,
a wash.
maybe in hindsight, we could have done that and then
Right.
had some long-term gains going forward, but, I mean,
I think we have
it's
some
February.
ideas among some of these council members too on communications that could go forward too. For another time, we can discuss that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Alderman Vitale.
in all fairness, I believe, the way the city have been operating, with the 90-gallon garbage or recycling bin, in all fairness, I agree that for Alderman Christian, that she stated the fact that the garbage sometimes doesn't get really that filled. If you got a huge family, maybe it gets filled up. But in general, really, I go in my block, a lot of those garbage cans, lucky if they're half full or less than that, really, in the area, there's a duplex too. So to me, if we do miss a week, I don't think it's a big issue. Maybe it will be an issue for people, they have a driveway and they have to take the garbage because they know that they have to put it by the curb. That's maybe an issue, But maybe it could be informed in case of storms. Again, the quarterly letter, I think, magazine that we provide to the people, I think would be ideal. In case the city has to delay 2 weeks, well, you have to move the garbage if you have a driveway. And to me, it would be a solved situation here. Because, again, we talk about not for this year or the last year budget, but we talk for the future. To me, if it would be a savings cost that would help us in case in the wintertime that we have to delay 1 week, to me, it's not a big issue, really. To me, it would be something that could be accommodate, really, in all fairness. It could be maybe, say, 100 families. They have, like older person Christian said, they have 5 people or 6 people. Maybe their garbage fills up a lot quicker. But the bottom line is, we have to look at it, provide the same service, but if we have a snow emergency, will be a week delay. To me, it doesn't kill anybody. It's not a biggest issue, really. It's not. I mean, I'm not an expert on pick up garbage. I'm not. But I could pick up garbage if I have to, you know? I mean.
Well, there's short help down there, Vince. They're looking for people.
Get him a vest.
Go ahead, Dave.
You're hired.
I just want to echo the sentiments of Alderperson Weigel indicating that, again, with staffing, but just because you do suspend, you still need that weekend or that time frame, and you're hoping that a storm doesn't come by and wipe out that opportunity. The second week thereafter, we had that 3 or 4 years ago, where we did not collect a portion of the city for recycling because 2 consecutive collection times for that area, they were, we had a large snowstorm. So it is something that, given the staffing limitations that we do have, at some point in time, my job is going to be recommending, do we collect or do we keep the drivers fresh for plowing and salting operations? Secondly, I just want to give a big shout out to the crew persons, the employees at the Department of Public Works. They tried this, and I know they were hesitant on that, but they did the work. They went out there, they collected the refuse and recycling. We had maintenance repairs in our street division assigned to garbage and recycling routes. We had individuals from facility and signs filling in. We had extra drivers collecting for and helping out on some of the routes for recycling. So during the time that we were picking up refuse, the weights were normally 46 ton. For that day, it was 100 ton. For recycling, it was 20 ton and increased to 31 ton. So we did have a larger snowstorm, about 3.5 to 4 inches. And after those individuals were collecting refuse and recycling, then they were tasked with plowing. So kudos to them, and I thank them for at least trying.
Good job.
I think it's wonderful that people come up with new ideas, and I commend anybody who came up with this idea to try it. A pilot was the way to go. I'm glad it wasn't extended any longer because I have never received as many calls as I did with this pilot program. Between the emails and the calls, it was unbelievable that people didn't understand, but I think what was most important is they didn't know about the pilot program. They did not know this was happening.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they were very, very upset about the whole situation. The mayor had contacted me and I gave him an earful because it.
Oh, I've had worse.
I don't believe that from you,
I
Rosalie. I don't.
It indicated that.
I don't.
And I'm sure both of you received many, many calls. The brunt of it basically was, I think, the 4th and 5th district. Because we were impacted, that was our day for collection.
Yeah.
And it just didn't go over very well. And that's all I got to say. It didn't go over very well. But at least we tried. We know we want to save on taxes for our people. And any suggestions that are made are great. We need those suggestions. If we try, it's great. It didn't turn out. Maybe we can do with suggestions a little better the next time. But I admire you people because we tried. And that's what's important. We tried, and obviously it didn't work the way we wanted it to. And I have to applaud the employees. You were short-staffed and under a lot of pressure, but they performed well. They performed well. This Monday went very well, I have to say.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Alderman Vitale.
We want to linger this for a while yet, do you? But it's okay, I got the last.
I got to be home by 11, so
Yeah,
you got.
But anyway, the fact is that we do have really a good crews, you know. I mean, for over 30 years, you know, we have 20-some people covered 12 square miles of West Dallas for garbage and recycling pickup. Is that correct?
It's 17.
17, see, I mean, I added 3 more, but 17. Years ago, we used to have almost nearly 50 people pick up garbage in West Dallas. There was no recycling back then. 50 people they used to have. And now 17 people there take care of recycling and garbage. So my question is, like I said earlier, it's not an issue for us to, if it's an issue to pick up garbage for 1 week, really. I think we can stood up, yeah. So I'd like to make an motion to place on file.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. No discussion, okay?
Nope, we're good.
Are you joking, or?
No, I just, I honestly, I'm going to be very brief on this, but I'm going to never miss an opportunity to say this, but I'm going to say it again on the record that I'm reading more articles about the state having this huge surplus, and I'm really not seeing any bumps in any aids or shared revenue or anything from them. So I will encourage not only everybody in this room, but everybody on this camera to contact their state legislators and let them know that the money coming to them is coming from cities like West Dallas, from money spent in West Dallas, and this goes for Kenosha, this goes for Appleton, this goes for La Crosse, this goes for Mosinee, this goes for Sun Prairie. Every city in the state is contributing to the state, and the state is not returning that money. So I just want to take that
It
opportunity.
goes for education just as well, too.
Once
It's not
again,
just-
well, yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
for
all I got.
everything,
I'm
really.
done.
Thank you, Mayor Devine.
Okay, it's
Thank
been
you.
moved and seconded to be placed on file. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion adjourned.
Opposed?
Second.
Motion carries. Motion to adjourn. We are in adjournment, and
Advisory.
Alderman Vitale, they start at 7.
So if you want to help.
No, so if you're going to be down there, be there
I
at
will.
7.
Maybe you can assist me, maybe pick
okay.
me up.
Now we got-
Both go there.
We have
We got advisory
advisory.
now.
Okay, let's get started with advisory.
Both of us go there.
Advisory come to order. All members are present on the committee. Number 45 is a resolution establishing polling places for elections. So I will ask either our city attorney or our city administrator to
Becca's on
expand on what have you come up with.
So, I'll start and Kale can add if there's anything. We met with this committee last time when we talked about the polling locations that we were looking at. And there were some suggestions from the committee that we look at different locations, one of which was St. Rita's. Another was the school administration building. The school district has okayed the use of Frank Lloyd Wright, so we have that. We're not able to use the school administration building because it's under remodeling or construction. It's not able for people to come in there.
That's the one on Lincoln?
Right, 93rd and Lincoln.
Right.
So we looked at an alternative to that location, Mother of Perpetual Help. I believe it's on 103rd and Lincoln. It's by the
That was
Holiday
the
Inn.
Mary Queen of Heaven. It used to be before the Tri-Parish.
It was hard to identify the name, but they've agreed to allow us to use their gymnasium, which is separate from the church. And there's a large parking lot in front of there. So we don't have the final list for you to make the decision tonight. Because we just got this information today. But we will be bringing the option at the February 15th meeting. I'll meet with Kale and Gina and Jenny in the clerk's office, and we can probably come up with 2 different options, one based on parking and the other based on, I guess, our staffing for poll workers. It's sometimes a challenge to have a large number of people at a lot of locations that might not be the best qualified or have a lot of experience working at the polling place. And as you know,
I think I said this last time, each election is becoming more of a challenge, and we have to make sure that there's competent people and that we do things the best that we can. So we'll probably bring you 2 options on the 15th. Hopefully we can have them sent to you ahead of time so you can look at them.
Madam Chair? Rebecca, I just have, thank you. I just have one question. What is, do we have a number of how many we would like to add? Because right now, based on what we had done, we did the high schools, and we had Frank Lloyd Wright in the last election, didn't we? Or was it just Hale Lane? And it was Hale Lane,
We had
and
5 locations.
we had 5 locations.
Yeah.
So how many are we looking to add?
So
Now we're moving to 8.
right now, we've got the senior center, the rec center, City Hall, Central High School, Lane Middle School, Frank Lloyd Wright, Hale, and
Mother
Mother of
Perpetual.
Perpetual Help.
Yes.
Is Rita's, did they respond yet?
They cannot.
They cannot,
not do
okay.
it.
So Rita's is out.
So we have 8 then confirmed. Let's see, that would put us at approximately 3 wards per site. The way to, and kind of what Rebecca was saying, there's 2 ways to do it. Either you can evenly balance out the number of wards and population and then try to staff them all equally. Or what you can do is acknowledge that some chiefs are just really well organized and can maybe supervise more people than other chiefs might be able to, might be newer or might be more experienced. And so you can actually focus things based on parking availability and capacity, and then put more staff in that location and maybe less staff in a less populated area to sort of naturally let that filter out. So those are the 2 options we'll likely be presenting, is one more evenly distributed and one that's more ranked in capacity and availability. And at that point, I think the council will make a choice, hopefully by next meeting, because we do need to establish them by, I think, the
Yeah.
March 1.
Yeah.
Time is of the essence. Now, would we look at placing this on file or hold it? Or?
I would hold
I'd
it.
ask to hold this to
Yeah,
next
hold
week.
it.
Okay, I make a
Second.
motion to hold it. Do you have more? Okay,
Rebecca has asked to speak.
Thank you.
I just wanted to mention that we're going to be purchasing additional Badger books. Now, those are the ones where people come, when you come into the polling location, we check to see that you're registered and things like that. When we have more people coming to vote on election day, it takes a little bit longer to register people. And I was at Hale at the last presidential election, and there were so many people that were registering. We were using 2 of the Badger books, and it was just getting so far behind. I think your wife was helping me.
I think you're right.
She saw that I was having a problem. But so if we get more books, we'll have more people, the Badger books will have more people that we can hopefully get through quicker. So,
Yeah, last question, Madam Chair.
Okay. So we need a motion?
No, I have one
Oh,
question.
you have, okay.
For
All right.
Rebecca,
Alderman
what would
McCallum.
be the, I know the Liberty Heights Pavilion is not that great, you know, it's not in good shape, but I wonder if we could held the election there, I mean.
I think the biggest challenge there is
This-
that it's not accessible for like wheelchairs and things like
It
that.
is a wheelchair accessibility, yeah. It's too steep.
It's too steep. We've
Yeah, I
had-
agree with that, that's
We've
why.
had audits by the state, and that they found that
I
that was the
figured that,
issue
you
with
know,
that. So if we build a new facility there, we could always.
Well, I hope
we could
it
always
happen in
utilize
time, you know,
that.
once it.
Yeah. But right now, I mean, we really were trying to find places on the east side and the west side, and I think we've done what we can at this point without utilizing more school locations. But I think the addition of the Badger books and maybe some adjustments to how we do registrations on election day, perhaps we were doing them all electronically, but perhaps we could have people fill out the form, and then when they come up, we could just enter them very quickly, instead of you have to ask people a number of questions. If they already had those questions answered on the form, we wouldn't have to spend so much time going through them. That was really the the thing that took a lot of time at the last presidential
Fine-tune process.
The Longfellow school, I mean, you talk about security, the school district are concerned about security, but at Longfellow, really, there is doors, that place is locked, you can come in from the parking lot, people vote and just walk up, you can go anywhere else. So why the school is so concerned about, Longfellow would be ideal, we always said.
Are there restrooms that are accessible without them going behind the locked doors? I think that's the biggest.
Well, that's a big, they have to go through the door, they have restrooms, but you have to go through the door. So then, I mean, I could see that, it's part of one of the biggest problem that they have,
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's...
Okay, security remains still an important aspect of the voting procedure, I would say. Do we need a motion?
I had made the motion to.
I'll say it.
Just to hold this to the next.
Okay, to hold it?
Yeah.
All right, you made the motion, is there a second?
Yes,
I did.
three of them.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, then we're on to resolution urging the Wisconsin State Legislature to reject Assembly Bill 610, which shifts tax burdens to homeowners to the benefit of commercial property owners. Would you, Mayor,
Madam
would you
Chair,
like
thank
to
you.
expand on that?
Sure. This was an action alert that came to us from the League of Municipalities. It's very similar to the dark store loophole that we've fought in the past. It is kind of protecting information that can be given to assessors on large, expensive properties, meaning that they would get lower assessments and then that tax gap would be made up by the residences. So this is past the Assembly. The focus right now is on the Senate, where it is. I pre-emailed, not to put pressure on any of you to pass this, but I pre-emailed our senators today and told them that this was on the agenda and we expected it to pass tonight. But yeah, it's something we've been,
It's a good start,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Phil?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
I'll second it.
Is it second? Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you for doing that.
All right.
Thanks.
Next, we have a reappointment of Mayor Devine, Alderman Weigel.
Here to answer any questions you may have.
Right.
I mean,
Did you fill out an application, sir?
I have some
Rebecca
questions for
Grill,
you.
To the Tourism Commission.
Can you tell us your experience with it?
A motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Congratulations.
Carried.
I haven't signed it yet.
But you guys gotta think about
Wait,
it.
can you do that? Is that a conflict?
Veto my own appointment.
Although we have one more left, number 48, reappointment of Robin Kidd, Mary Johnson, Judy Huddle, and Christina Lund to the Public Beautification Committee.
Move for approval.
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Motion
To adjourn.
It's been moved and
Second.
seconded.
You can get one of them.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
The Common Council back to order, and I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Stefanski.
Here.
Tenorio.
Here.
Vitale.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Grisham.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
Keen.
Here.
Lysick.
Here.
Reinke.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
10 present.
A quorum is still present. We will begin with the Administration and Finance Committee, chaired by Alderman Haas, and I will ask the clerk to read out that report.
Before I read out the report, items 24 and 26 have been requested to be read out separately, so I'll read out the rest.
28. 28, please.
24, 26, and 28?
Not 28 was not requested to me, only 24 and 26. Unless
I'm making a request too.
There is a new request for 28.
28.
So
My
24,
apologies.
26, and 28. Anything else?
The Administration and Finance Committee recommended adoption of item 20, passage of 21, adoption of 23, approval of 25, and adoption of 27.
Mayor Devine, I move for approval of the committee report.
Thank you, Alderman Haas. Any discussion on the committee report, items that are in front of us currently? All right, hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Stefanski.
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries.
Mayor Devine, I move for approval of item 24.
Okay, we have a motion to approve item 24. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Stefanski.
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
No.
9 in favor, 1 opposed.
Motion carries.
And Mayor Devine, I move for approval of item 26.
Thank you, Alderman Haas. Is there any discussion on item 26? Seeing and hearing none, I will ask our clerk to call the roll for item 26.
Alderperson Stefanski.
No.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
No.
8 in favor, 2 opposed.
Motion carries. And now we have item 28.
And I move for approval of item 28.
Thank you, Alderman Haas. Any discussion on item 28? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Stefanski.
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Abstain.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
9 in favor, 1 abstention.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor Devine.
All right, way to keep it complex there, Alderman Haas. Get your committee in order, jeez. Public Works Committee, I will, chaired by Alderman Rote, I'll ask the clerk to read out that report.
The Public Works Committee recommended adoption of items 29 through 33 and placing on file items 34 and 35.
I move in accordance of the committee report, Mayor Devine.
Thank you, Alderman Rote. Any discussion? I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Stefanski.
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. Safety and Development Committee?
The Safety and Development Committee recommended adoption of item number 36.
Mayor Devine, I move for approval of the committee report.
Okay, we have a motion to approve item 36 from the Safety and Development Committee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Stefanski.
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. And the License and Health Committee?
The License and Health Committee recommended the following for item number 37, non-renewal but holding it at the committee level, so no action by the council. Granting item 38, non-renewal or denial of item 39 based on non-appearance, denial of item 40 based on non-appearance, hold item 41, denial of 42 based on the police report, and placing on file items 43 and 44.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move approval from the License and Health Committee meetings.
Thank you, Alderman Vitale. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. And next up, we have the Advisory Committee.
The advisory committee recommended holding item number 45, adoption of item 46, and approval of items 47 and 48.
Alderperson Ranky, would you like to approve the Advisory Committee report?
Mayor Devine, I move approval of the committee report.
Thank you. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Stefanski.
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Keen. Aye. Lysick.
Aye.
Ranky.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move that we adjourn until our next regularly scheduled meeting, Thursday, February 17th at 7 p.m.
Move to approve. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.